Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Flawless 195, and welcome back to another interim video at the halfway point of this world tour. Having some time down on the ground in North Madagascar has got the cogs turning, and whether for good or for bad, it's got me rethinking, rejigging the second half of the world tour. So, something that I realised upon reviewing the Seychelles leg the other day, something that I realised is that in the second half of this world tour, some of the flights really do start opening up. And whilst the majority of the flights, well, especially around Europe, were under an hour, I think we only got over an hour maybe half a dozen times in 40 flights. Then into Africa, we had a couple of lengthy ones, but we haven't gone over 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think, is the sort of record, if you like. So a lot of these countries, especially as you're going round the western coast of Africa here, all of these half-an-hour flights, 20-minute flights, 15-minute flights, you can see where this is going. You can already see where this is going. Obviously, this one, I think, might be the longest. Angola to Zambia was long. Also, Namibia to South Africa, you're talking 2 hours plus. But you know where I'm going with this. In the second half of the world tour, things really start to open up. Once we get beyond the Middle East, all of these are all manageable. An hour, hour and a half, 40 minutes, all the sort of region time-wise as I've been used to. And then we get to Kazakhstan. And from Kazakhstan onwards, the next leg, the next 50 flights from there, until we get to South America, we've got some very lengthy flights. And having looked at it again, obviously I was reviewing the Seychelles situation. I've looked at the length of these lines here and I'm thinking, in a morning, really? In a morning before I go to work, really? A 5-hour flight to Mongolia? And so, with that in mind, I have now added an additional 7 flights. Did you see it in the intro? We are no longer a 210 flight world tour. We are a 217 flight world tour because I've gone back and reviewed some of these longer lines here. Kazakhstan to Mongolia, Japan to Palau, India to the Maldives, just to name a few, where a 4 or 5 hour flight is not really what you're going to be wanting to do, or no, what I'm going to be wanting to do, and also in-flight entertainment and stuff, really, a 5-hour flight. So there are situations where I can't shorten a flight. For example, a quick example here, Sri Lanka to Malaysia, there is no stop off halfway, or even there I was thinking about stopping here, but then I think, well, it's another 20 minutes, half an hour and I'm there, so sod that. But there are other opportunities to split these longer flights in half, and I think that in hindsight now, being used to what I'm used to with the European and African legs, all of a sudden doing 4 or 5 hour flights, it's just going to be, I mean, it's just going to be unwarranted. It's not necessary, to be doing 4 or 5 hour flights when I don't need to. So I'm going to go through where I've added these additional 7 flights to the world tour. In other words, splitting some of these longer ones up into 2 flights. So let's start with the first one. Is what I just mentioned, Kazakhstan to Mongolia. I have now found a halfway stop off. We will stop in, well, I suppose it's southern Russia. It's very northern in terms of the whole global aspect. But in southern Russia over here, around about halfway. Now, I'm not going to be able to zoom in and find the exact airport that I have, but it's called Unabakan. I don't know if you can see it on here. No, listen, it's going to take me another hour to zoom into exactly. But basically, I'm going to split this flight in half. So instead of it being a 4 or 5 hour flight, I don't even know how long that is, but judging the line this length here from Luanda to Lusaka is 2.5 hours, two and a quarter hours. It's twice that. So you're looking at 4.5 hours ish. I'm not sure, like I say, but it's long. Anyway. I have decided to divide this flight up, and we stop somewhere around where the cursor is there, right? So we sort of go there, maybe it's 2 hours, and there 2 hours, right? So I've split that into 2 flights. The next one, sorry, that might have been really loud on the thing. The next one I've split is this Japan to Palau flight here. I am now going to stop off. Taiwan is an interesting one in terms of it's not one of the 195 countries, although probably the general consensus is that it is its own country. It's a complicated political situation, as I understand it. But Taiwan's going to get its justice. We will now be stopping off at Taipei. Taiwan. So even though it's not in the 195, we will still stop off there because it then divides this flight up. What I'll then do is I'll go Tokyo to Taipei and then Taipei to Manila, Philippines, before then coming over to Palau. So I'm sort of changing the route a little bit with this one. We're coming over, so we'll go Japan, Taiwan, then we'll go down straight south to Manila, because there's no point in going around it. Might as well go Philippines first, then off to Palau, and then come across this way like this. So we'll now change that to there, across and across there, if you get what I mean. And then hitting Brunei, and then carry on the world tour. So I'm splitting the Japan to Palau flight up and creating a slightly different route in this part of Southeast Asia. So that's that one. So I'm adding another flight in there because that was a 1, 2, 3 flights to Brunei. Now it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4 flights to Brunei. If you get me drift. So I'm adding another flight in there to Taiwan. So Taiwan gets its justice, even though, like I say, it's not in the 195. It will be in the Flawless 195 World Tour. Then the next one I'm going to split up is I was gonna go straight from New Delhi. Is it New Delhi, India, all the way to the Maldives. Again, we're talking 4 hours, aren't we? Plus, why not stop off in Mumbai? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it's about bang on halfway as well. And obviously it's a major Indian city. So we'll go New Delhi to Mumbai on the western coast. And then from Mumbai to the Maldives. This is all sensible stuff. You know, you've got to be watching this nodding your head. This is all sensible stuff. Don't want to be jumping in northern India for a 4 hours, 40-minute flight. No, come on. Let's be realistic. I've looked at this world tour again and gone, let's be realistic here. If we can, if there's a reasonable place to stop, then why not make it 2 2-hour flights rather than 1 foot? You know what I mean? It makes sense. It makes sense. It's something that I should have thought of a year ago, but I'm thinking of it now. So, whilst we're chilling in North Madagascar, waiting for a day where I've got 3.5 hours to go up to the Seychelles and back to Comoros. While I'm waiting for that day, where I've got 4 hours doing F all, I might as well rejig the entire second half of the world tour. That's how it goes, isn't it? When you get a bit of free time, you're sort of thinking, how can I improve things? So, right, that's the third one. So we split up Kazakhstan to Mongolia. We split up Japan to Palau. We split up India into 2 flights as well, going to Mumbai before heading to the Maldives. This flight, I can't really cut in half. If there was an island here in the middle, it would be. Here again, it doesn't really. Are these ridiculously long flights to Timor-Leste and then to Papua New Guinea? I'll just have to raw dog that. You know, it might just be a 2.5, 3 hour flight to there and then another one there. It's going to be long, but it's not really worth trying to stop off at one of these islands or stop off at Bali or something. Let's just get on with it in that scenario. So where's the next one? So the next one I'm splitting up is I saw this Fiji to Canberra flight and thought, oof. you know what I mean? So, Norfolk Island, come on down. So, there is a decent runway on Norfolk Island. In fact, if I zoom in far enough, you might be able to see it. I'm not exactly sure where it is on the island. Anyway, there is a decent runway. Here. There it is. Yeah, you can see it now. Norfolk International. Come on. If you're giving me a halfway point with an international airport in it, I might just be stopping off. So we are going to make a stop at Norfolk Island in between the Fiji and Australia leg, just to split that up. Because again, that's probably getting on for 4 hours. I don't really know. I mean, I'm guesstimating on the length of other lines earlier on in the so I'm guesstimating that this is very lengthy. So a stop in Norfolk Island, about bang on halfway, is what we're going to do. So a stop in Norfolk Island has been added in that leg. What's the next one? Then we just have to tackle the rest of the, I can't split up the, now, I was told that you don't pronounce that Kiribati. I can't remember the correct pronunciation, but someone told me that you don't actually pronounce it Kiribati. But anyway, I can't split up the this flight, shall I say, to Mexico City. There's no point in going to Hawaii. What am I doing? I'm going north. I need to be heading east. So that one, I'm just going to have to firm this one across the Pacific to Mexico City. It is what it is. I can't divide all the long flights up. Every now and then it's just going to be like, right, okay, this is a Saturday written off here. We're going all the way from Kiribati to Mexico City, and it is what it is. So I can't split them all up. So the next one, after the Fiji-Australia leg, is this one here in Brazil. So I've noticed up on review that Brasilia to Trinidad and Tobago is another, you've got to be talking more than 4 hours across over the Amazon. So why not stop off in the middle of the Amazon, on the Amazon River? Well, I think it is. Listen, I think it is. Right, so we're going to stop off. I think it'd be quite a beautiful place to stop off. We're going to stop off at Santarém. There is a nice runway in this region somewhere or other. I don't know how far. I'd have to zoom in to see it on this map. But anyway, there is, trust me, there's an international route. There it is. There it is. There it is. Aeroporto Internacional de Santarém, Maestro, right? So we can stop there. And again, it's about bang on halfway. If I zoom out, you can see we're about halfway there. So it splits up this 4 hour plus journey again into two reasonable sections of 2 hours each. Guesstimation again. This is quite a long one as well. There's a few longer sort of flights in South America. We've got this short one here, Buenos Aires, Montevideo. Come on, up and down, quarter of an hour. But anyway, that's another one there that we're splitting up. So does that make 5? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 5. So we've added 5 flights in. Additional 6th flight. Now we are splitting these, what is it? This one flight. Oh, no, sorry. These last 2 flights are going to become 4. That's what I've done. These last 2 flights here are going to become 4 because Ottawa to Reykjavik, Iceland, again, look at, I mean, if you're judging off this, if you can imagine that line there is 2.25 hours. Imagine this. It's a full day. It's 5 hours plus. So, Greenland, come to the party. Greenland, again, not in the 195 because I think it's owned by... Listen, I'm going to set myself up for a fall here, but I think it's owned by the Netherlands, so it's not its own official country. I don't know the ins and outs. Like I said, don't know the ins and outs. But Greenland does not appear on a list of all 195 countries. Greenland's not on it. But it gets its Flawless 195 World Tour justice because we are now planning to land Narsarsuaq, which is down here somewhere. I don't know if I'll be able to. Is that it? No. Oh God, they all sound the same. Right. There's an airport down here somewhere. I should have planned this out better. Anyway, there's a runway down here. Just trust me. I can't find it here, but I found it on the within the sim. There is actually another one up here, but it's a shorter runway. Anyway, there's a runway here, and so then you guessed it, I split the flight. Well, we sort of 2/3 stop off and a last third. So it means that this then becomes sort of 3 hours instead of 5. So we can stop here at Greenland. It gets its justice of. Whilst it's not in the 195, it's on my world tour, so get in. And then also this last flight as well, coming all the way from Reykjavik, Iceland, back to Manchester, the final flight. I'm going to stop at the Faroe Islands. Why not? Why not have a look? This is a geography tour as well. You know, I want to see different parts of the world. So why not stop off? So I'm going to split the last flight up into 2. Vagar. We're heading for. I don't know if we'll be able to find it here. Is that there? Is it in this South Island? Perhaps it is there. Yeah, potentially. Oh, I'm not sure now. I'm not sure. Anyway, I will do Reykjavik, Iceland to Vagar in the Faroe Islands before then the final flight south into Manchester. So there you go. I've added another 7 flights in. Obviously, not all of the lengthy flights I can split up. Like I say, I was looking at splitting that one up. No real point. These ones here, I could stop at some islands along the way. But that's not one flight anyway. There's a stop here at Dili. We stop at Dili there, so that's not one anyway. There's going to be 2 lengthy flights back to back, but in some scenarios, it is what it is. I also looked at stopping here for this flight from Papua New Guinea to Micronesia. I also looked at stopping there anyway. I can't split them all up. You know, you bloody 400 flight world tour. But there you go. I've added 7 flights, and I think it's sensible to do that. Like I say, I've been used to the first half of the world tour, 40-minute flight, hour and 15, 55 minutes, an hour and 10. It's all been in that ballpark. And then we're going to get out of the Middle East, and it's all of a sudden it's going to hit me like a sledgehammer where I'm going, wow, we've got 4 hours to Mongolia. Wow, we've got 4 hours to Palau. Wow, we've got 4 hours to the Maldives. It's just going to be a bit ridiculous. And there's going to be, if I could have kept it like that, it was going to be at a point where, okay, I'm going to have to wait until a week on Sunday where I've got, and then it's going to really slow it down. We might be waiting a week there before I get a day. We might be waiting a week there. Anyway, I'm now split up 7 of the lengthier flights in the World Tour into 2 or more sections. So there you go. That is just a little halftime update with mess with the Seychelles leg. If you didn't see that video, I don't have to take the Daha TBM now to the Seychelles because they've mapped out a runway that wasn't mapped out before, so I can just take the Airbus A320 straight to the Seychelles, and then we can go straight on to Comoros. I've got to do that in one go, so that will be likely on Saturday or Sunday. I will go to the Seychelles and then to Comoros, and then we head up the... Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Up the eastern coast of Africa into the Middle East. But there you go. That is just a little update on the World Tour route. I have added an additional 7 flights, making this a 217 flight World Tour, which means we're no longer halfway through the World Tour. We'll have to wait till we land in Tanzania. Flight 109, Dodoma. Dodoma will now be the halfway point of the World Tour. That's So we're now pushed us back beyond halfway. But anyway, you get the idea, and I think it makes perfect sense to split some of these flights up as to not sit here all day with with just some clouds and some blue sky for 5 hours. Right, anyway, that's all from me. The next video will not be me waffling on. We are going to get in the air on Saturday or Sunday, depends. Not quite sure which one, but the next video on the channel will be me back in the air for part 2 of this flawless 195 World Tour. Thank you for watching. Please do drop a like, subscribe, and get the bell icon on as we head for a dirt runway in the Seychelles. The World Tour, slightly tweaked, but continues. Bye for now.